Hello people of the earth and welcome to Quick Save TV. In Learn to Play Competitively with Mike, we learn how to compete with other players step by step in order to excel against our opponents and feel more confident in multiplayer battles. Today, we're going to learn how to hold the mouse properly and use it in a way that not only doesn't hurt our health, but also augments our ability to fight better and issue commands in different types of games, such as RTS, RPG and shooter. Now, why is this important? First and foremost, it can help you prevent carpal tunnel syndrome, which essentially makes your hand hurt, especially when you sleep, and prevents you from sleeping properly. And it's a pain in the ass. It's a pretty nasty thing and you really don't want to have it. You can get it by typing a lot on keyboard or by not using your mouse properly. We will get to keyboard in a later episode of the Learn to Play Competitively with Mike, but today we're going to discuss the mouse specifically. You can just as well get it by using a mouse, don't be deluded. It's just as easy to get if you don't hold your mouse properly and stress your hand without any reason. Second and third is speed and accuracy. Now generally, you might argue that if you don't use your mouse how I suggest you to do in this video, you might reach higher accuracy. Yes, you might be correct, it might work for you at this time better. But generally, on the average, your accuracy will be much higher if you use and hold your mouse properly. Because you don't stress your arm so much, and because of that it's much easier to reach any kind of target quicker and faster, because you use the same technique instead of adjusting every time you aim or issue a command. Now the fourth thing is that you can play for much longer periods of time with just the same amount of stress you would get with shorter periods of time with your old style. Because your hand remains fixated, your wrist essentially remains fixated, and your hand does all the movements. Because of this, the hand doesn't hurt so much and the wrist doesn't hurt, and you can play for much longer periods of time, and when you will actually leave computer, I promise you, you will not feel exhausted, at least not at your arms. You will actually feel that you had a lot of fun and your arms don't hurt, unlike in other types of play. Right now for me, whenever I am actually forced to play on not comfortable table, I feel it, guys. I mean, I really do. It hurts, I cannot focus on the game, I cannot do specific movements I need, I have generally worse performance, and it's just shit, okay? Especially when you try to pwn some guys, alright? And when you try to compete against strong players, you just feel pissed and frustrated because of that. So you don't want that. You want to enjoy the game and have an equal chance to kick their asses as much as they do yours. Now, how do we actually do that? Good question. And there are I tried to devise several suggestions for you on how to actually do that easily. Depending on what your skills are, I will also suggest you some exercises in order for you to practice yourself and improve this technique. Now, first and foremost, place your wrist and hand firmly on the mouse and the table. Your wrist has to be on the table as you see on a small video right here, and it shouldn't move, or the movement should be minimal. You should only move it whenever it's absolutely necessary. Your hand has to do all the work for the mouse. Of course, it also means that you need to adjust your sensitivity on the mouse in order to have just enough to easily reach any corner of your screen without moving your wrist. Now, this is very important, and sensitivity generally will depend on the size of your hand. Now, you will ask, why don't you suggest us to use the wrist, the whole wrist? Well, first of all, it's stressful to use the whole wrist, okay? And it takes a lot more time to move your whole hand, your whole arm, than to actually move just the part of your arm, which is hand. It takes so little time to move it, and generally you reach things quicker. That's my impression, that's my opinion. Some professional players do the same thing, and they also suggest you to do that. But depending on your style, of course, you might try out something different, okay? The next thing is try to hold your hand, and actually your arm should be, how to put it, from hand to elbow, this part of your arm has to be parallel to the table, okay? It shouldn't be not lower, your elbow shouldn't be much lower than the table, shouldn't be much higher than the table, it should be almost parallel or very close to it. This way the stress to your arms will be minimal, and because the signal from your brain to your arm will go with utmost perfection and accuracy, you will never have a problem with aiming accurately because of that. So generally at the same time, although it is for another tutorial, I want you to sit straight as you play your favorite competitive games. Why? Because when your hands are straight, when your back is straight, your hands are also straight, and this gives you additional boost in accuracy and speed of movement. So be careful and sit straight. This will improve your accuracy, I promise. Just make sure you do that and force yourself to sit straight, even if it's hard for you. You know, for a person such as myself, my mother calls me a crook all the time. Not because I'm a robber or anything, but because I sit like a crook, okay? Like a weird shape which you use to fish, you know, this thingy. And yeah, that's what I am. But now I got myself a very nice chair, it holds my back and it does not allow me to sit anyhow but straight. So I suggest you to try to sit straight, it will improve your overall physical condition and also help you play better. Okay, that's suggestions. And the last two, my hand crunched. Last two, I have several exercises for you, specifically two. The levels are beginner and intermediate. Beginner exercise is, I want you to do the following. I want you to place your hand on the mouse, or your right or left hand, it is not important really, and your wrist on the table. And I want you to fixate your wrist on the table with your other hand. And I want you to go online to any game in which you have to shoot, like a shoot 'em up game, and just try to go ahead and do that without moving your wrist, okay? If your hand is not enough or you cannot do that, adjust your sensitivity. Try to do that, an exercise like this, for as much as you need, okay? I suggest to do at least 30 minutes. 30 minutes to 1 hour would be great. But remember, don't press your wrist, just hold it, fixate it, okay? You don't have to punch it or nail it to the ground, just hold it gently, okay? It's your hand, you don't have to hate it or anything. You're just trying to learn to work with only hand without moving your wrist. Hold your wrist, do not hurt it. That's first exercise. The second exercise is for intermediate players. Now, since this tutorial is based off Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, essentially, that's what I presented to you right now, not that it doesn't apply to other games, I want you to do the following. In whatever shooter game you play, but the best example is Modern Warfare 3 because of the way engine operates, I suggest you to take a sniper rifle, any type of sniper rifle, but the best I suggest you to use a semi-automatic sniper rifle that will not allow you to fire too rapidly, and use it in a multiplayer battle against other players or in a survival mode. And just try to aim at the enemies, again like this, using your sniper rifle, of course without moving your wrist. And because your sniper rifle is restrictive, it will force you to try to get better accuracy, and you will generally get hold of your mouse much quicker, and you will start controlling your hand much better. Now that's about it. That was pretty extensive tutorial for how to hold a mouse like a pro. Now if you follow these easy tips and suggestions, and of course several easy exercises, you will improve your gameplay dramatically and your score will be much higher. Now this does not mean that this is how to get the best player in the world. This is the fundamental education on how to play competitive multiplayer games. And I want you to know this because I care about your physical health and your improvement in multiplayer battles. I wish you luck, and if you want to support me, go ahead and subscribe to my channel in order to support my work and get notified when new content becomes available. I'm not one of your big channels, I am an underdog and I need your help. Okay? I thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and bye bye. You would get in a dungeon with several jerks, which would just start acting as if they're center of the universe and spoil the rest of the game for everybody else. What are you talking about? Surely one of them would be like good decision, and they're like, no, all of them are shit, only this one is viable.